Hey guys, welcome to a bonus episode of The History Behind the Crime. I'm in a lull between episodes, and I thought I would offer this olive branch. Uh, I was working on a full episode, but I didn't like it, so I had to start over with another one. Anyway, I'm here in my apartment right now. Maggie's next to me. She's licking the couch. Amelia is sleeping. I got laundry going, so if you're wondering what that noise is in the background, and the fan is also going too because it's a little bit warm this summer. But let's get on with this bonus episode. Last season, you guys may remember my friend Shannon and I presented another bonus episode about online dating. And let me tell you, within a few days, my inbox exploded. I have never had that many listener emails from just one episode before, it was really great. A lot of you shared your dating horror stories, and that it kind of turned me off to online dating there for a little while. So thanks for that. I also had a few emails from a few men who just wanted to tell me that not all men are like the ones I talked about, Shannon and I talked about in that bonus episode. And first, I want to say thank you for writing. And second, I'm aware of that. Shannon and I also mentioned it 100 times during the episode that the men that we are talking about were bad guys. You know, these weren't nice people. So yes, obviously not all men are like that. But I digress. Today, I thought I would share some of your emails because some of them are truly scary, and others I'm just thankful for the support, and I wanted to share both of those. So here we go. Hey, Aaron, my boyfriend and I listened to your dating episode, and boy, did that get a conversation started. Mike and I met on Tinder 3 years ago, and we just fit. Within a week, we were exclusive and moved in with each other 3 months later because my lease was up. We now have 3 dogs, cool, and are expecting our first child. Congratulations. After listening to your dating episode, Mike thought you exaggerated some stuff. He honestly thought it wasn't that bad on dating sites until I told him some of my personal stories. He got quiet quick when I told him how I was stalked for 2 years after meeting a man from Plenty of Fish. I met Mitchell, 25, when I was 19, and went on only 2 dates with him. He was nice, kind of nerdy, but there was something not right about him. He was a little bit too eager to move things fast, and he was very pushy about wanting me to delete my dating profile. I told him firmly we were not going to work, and I didn't want to see him again. But he would not stop calling or texting. I changed my number after a few months, but then he started hanging around my college campus and following me when I went out with friends or on a date. I tried to get a restraining order against him, but back then the police said he hadn't done anything illegal. And for those of you who don't know, stalking laws have only recently taken effect in only some states. So know your stalking laws in the jurisdiction where you're at. Somehow he got my parents' phone number and he called them and told them I was a whore and I was sleeping around with every man I met. He told them I had multiple abortions and I was prostituting myself. Here's the thing about my mom. She was a cop during this time and knew I was a good kid, though she was disappointed I didn't tell her what was going on. Mom flew across country to where I was going to school and had the university police trespass Mitchell. She went to the city cops and asked if any other women had complained about Mitchell. Hold on to your butts. Mitchell not only stalked other women, but he was a convicted sex offender on parole. Mom called Mitchell's parole officer and asked him to do a search of Mitchell's home and found, you guessed it, illegal pornography. I am thrilled to report Mitchell was sentenced to 20 years and is still in prison today. Like you said, don't fuck with moms. Mike was upset that something like that happened and was perversely mad at me for online dating, even though we met on a dating app. He called his sister and asked if she had bad experiences with dating apps, and she was all like, duh. I guess we all gave him an education, and he pays a little more attention to women's issues now. Keep preaching the gospel, Tamara. Thank you, Tamara. I will do my best, and I am absolutely appalled that you had to go through something like that. We joke about every now and again stalking, but it's serious. Your life can be devastated by a stalker. And unfortunately today, it's not just physical stalking, but it's online stalking as well. There are people out there that can ruin your life with just a few clicks of a mouse. So be careful, be vigilant, and know the laws in your area. So this is the next email. I'm going to try my best at this one. Erin, girl, what is up? Just binged some of your episodes and loved the dating one. I even watched the next Netflix documentary about the blowhard who posted people's pictures online. People suck. I so know what you mean when you chat with a guy from a dating app and they call you names when you say you aren't interested. Every time I ask myself even if it's worth it. Should I take vows and become a nun? Nah, I like sex too much. Maybe become a lesbian? Are you or Shannon interested? I can cook. Loving y'all in Texas, HW. HW, I'm not a lesbian. Shannon isn't either. But, if your cooking is that good, I might consider, going over to the other side. So yeah, let me know. The next email. Fuck yeah! Online dating is stupid scary, but I can't stop. We have a Facebook group in Miami where local women can post red flags about men they meet online. 2 months ago, I matched with a guy and started chatting with him. The fucker was so nice and didn't mention sex once, which was different. I met him for a drink, and you're right, know your limits, and got no red flags from him at all. We had a drink, and he politely kissed me on the cheek and just walked off. Unicorn, right? Wrong. I posted him on the group, and his ex hit me up and showed me abusive text messages he sent her. A couple of days later, another woman messaged me and said the guy was chill at the beginning, but yelled at her after their third date and accused her of flirting with the bartender. I so ghosted his ass. Love the podcast. Thanks for giving crime a different perspective. Single in Miami. Single in Miami. Is that a name of a song or a book? Maybe. Yeah, so you never know who you're going to meet online. I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt during the first date because, you're nervous. But normally they start to show their true colors by the second or third date. Single in Miami, I'm so glad that you dodged that bullet. Next email. Hey, Erin. I started listening to The History Behind the Crime recently and appreciate how you give a better understanding of what was going on during crimes you talk about. I studied sociology in college and was fascinated how society affected criminals and the justice system. Thank you for talking about it on your podcast, and you are welcome. I listened to your dating episode last night, and you two gals were great. Thank you for including the gay community in the episode. I've used dating apps geared toward gay men and found out even gay men can be predators and victims. My friend Steve used a popular gay dating app to meet men, and he wasn't very picky about who he met up with. Steve would meet up with these men, get drunk, and have sex with them, and wonder how he would just turn into a booty call. One morning, Steve called me and asked me to pick him up from the hospital. He had gone out the night before with a man he had met from a dating app, had a few drinks with him, and woke up the next morning in an alley with no memory of the night before. He had been drugged, robbed, beaten, and sexually assaulted. Steve refused to file a police report, and the predator's dating profile had been deleted. It took weeks for Steve to physically heal, but he still suffers mentally and emotionally. I still use dating apps, but I've learned from Steve's attack and followed the rules you and Shannon talked about in the podcast. Provide my own transportation, meet in public places. I do not drink with people I do not know, and I go home alone. I also send a screenshot of my date's profile to my sister and let her know where I'll be. Many of my dates are just looking for some play. Men, am I right? But some are in it for something long term. I have my 4th date tonight with a man I met online. Wish me luck. M in Manhattan. M, dude, good luck. I mean, just getting to the 4th date these days is, that in itself is a milestone. So I do wish you the best of luck. I do feel for your friend Steve. I would like to say that, he should have gone to the authorities. He should have provided a police report. But being a victim of sexual assault, whether you're a woman or a man, it's difficult. The things that you have to go through after you report a sexual assault, a rape, you feel victimized over again. I'm not going to judge your friend Steve at all. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets the help that he needs, and that he can go on with his life and maybe soon start trusting people again. So I wish him the very best of luck. The next one is from somebody who's actually emailed me before. I've read her email on another episode. She starts off with, "Hi, Erin. Connie in Texas again. I just listened to the dating bonus episode and could get down on my knees and thank God I am an old married woman. I've heard single friends talking about how bad dating sites were, but good grief. I've never used dating apps, thank God, but did have a scary dating experience back in the 80s. I was living with my parents while I was going to college, and I admit I was a rebel, drinking, partying, and going out with older men. I met John, and she put John in quotes, at a friend's party, and we clicked. John was significantly older than my group of friends, and I didn't ask why. He was hanging out with a bunch of teens and people in their early 20s. Think Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused. All right. The next night we went to a bar. Yes, I had a fake ID. But after a while, I started to get the creeps. I'm talking skin-crawling creeps. And I did my best to extract myself from the situation, but, I had to be polite. I lied and said I had a paper to write and I would call him later, which I had no intention of doing. The next morning, I got up and saw my older brother standing at the front window looking out onto the street. He said there was a man parked across the street and had been there since late last night. You guessed it was John. All I could think of was he must have followed me home. I freaked out and told my brother about the date, and he just gave me this look that said, "Boy, are you stupid." He went into his room and came back with a shotgun. It's Texas. He handed it to me and said, "You got yourself into this mess. Get yourself out." I was terrified, but like all little sisters, I had to show up my big brother. I walked out of the house like I was Chuck Norris on a mission. John caught sight of me and squealed tires to get the hell out of there. I was disappointed and relieved I didn't get to confront him, and my brother just laughed and said the gun wasn't even loaded. I never saw John again. I met my age-appropriate husband 3 months later, and we were married within the year. I taught both my sons to respect women and not to mistreat them lest they find themselves looking down the barrel of a shotgun. They're both married now. I love my daughters-in-law and growing their own families. One of my daughters-in-law is a police officer, so I hear all sorts of crime stories from her. Thanks for the podcast. Connie, share those stories with us. We want to know too. And yeah, dating back in the 80s certainly sounds more fun than dating today. I, thinking about it, I can see my dad doing something like that too. Like giving me a shotgun going, you take care of it. But that's Oklahoma. I guess in Oklahoma and Texas, that's more acceptable. Anyways, guys, thank you for all these emails. They were certainly interesting to read. I wish I could have read them all. Maybe we can do another one. Yeah, send me your creepy dating stories. I definitely want to hear about them. As I said before, I've given dating apps a rest right now. I'm working on actually, being more social, actually going out. I haven't been doing a pretty good job at that lately, but because my dogs are so cuddly and it's hot outside. I don't like the hot. But anyway, everyone, remember, if you do use dating sites, be careful. Do your research. Do your due diligence. Be careful. And remember, you don't have to be polite. If you are getting the creeps from your date, just leave. You don't even have to say bye. You can just go. Other than that, y'all, I hope you're enjoying your summer or your winter if you're down under. And I will be back hopefully here soon with a full episode. Until then, do me a favor. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye.